There we are. Hello, everyone. And
Hello.
sorry once again for having actually moved this from Monday to Tuesday. Um, yeah, um, I had told you on Thursday that it's going to be Monday, but I wasn't feeling right again. And, um, we also wanted to have this announcement first. It was a little bit of a complication yesterday, but here we are. Um, I hope you're bearing with us. Obviously, if you're here, you are. Um, So there's always already questions in here, but first of all, we've got two people back. One is Zuller, aka Santiago, and we have Zuller's beard. That's who's also
I
back.
look a lot older. Yeah, actually, this was petition of my girlfriend. So before doing the promise of leaving my bird until play lunches, I never had it. I always shaved it. So now that I did it, my girlfriend said, "Hey, I like it. You have to keep it." And I was like, "Well, I guess it's okay." So I'm figuring it out. I don't like it at all, but I'm slowly getting into it.
You will learn to like it. If your girlfriend likes it, you will like it.
That's true.
I didn't read anything about cute bunnies. There's no cute bunnies. Ha! Maybe there should be. Okay, so what's been going on? You're back from Turkey, right? So before we get
Yes.
into these questions, uh, how was your trip?
It was terrible. Um, it was 28 hours of a trip, but I don't know why when I came to Europe to Turkey, it was way easier, like to handle everything. I just slept the whole flight. Woke up to the other plane and watch a movie, and I was already in Turkey. For the way back, it was terrible. Like really, I wasn't able to sleep, and when I was thinking about sleeping, I said no, I should better wait just to try to game with jet lag so I could arrive at night and then go to sleep. But it has been hard so far. The jet lag, I haven't enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine that this is 8 hours time difference, so it's really really tough. Um, so, is there any updates that you want to give regarding Dungeon Master before we start with all the play mind stuff and
Um, yeah, we have a lot
the
of
stuff that
updates.
everyone's waiting for, obviously? But
Yes, I know people are waiting here. We have 76 people waiting for to hear everything about Dungeon Master. So first, let's go with Atomic Hut. I told you guys that I didn't want anything to break on Monday, and you decided to break stuff on Monday. So I'm very sad about it. We already solved that issue. It was that the inventory and the listings wasn't showing on Atomic Hub on Neos and Wax
again,
again, but it has been solved again, and we already found a long-term solution to be able to solve it for it to don't happen again, hopefully. So we're working on it. We're also looking into the IMX situation. We already found the problem. We're fixing it, but some things take some time. There was also a problem with the launchpad in which some orders were taking a lot of time to process, so the users paid and it wasn't giving them the NFTs, but it has been solved as well. So a lot of things broke, but a lot of things have been solved as well. Now with Dungeon Master, we today actually we released the USDC user interface changes. There is a little bug on the vault. You should not pay attention to that. It will be solved today, but it is showing a lot of USDC for some users.
don't pay attention to this.
So,
You're
so
not
people
getting this
think they
much
are
money.
millionaires right now. Yeah,
Okay.
but it will be solved quickly. It apparently wasn't taking some weird logic. So can we stake Wombatiums again? Bought in store but couldn't stake. Which Wombatiums are you talking about? I'm not sure. I didn't break anything. Yes, you broke it. I told you guys I won't be around on Monday, and you broke it. Things still on Monday.
So
Dude, this is so sad. Let's say you guys separate, and then you have to start shaving.
no, you don't have to start shaving.
I mean, yeah, it's sad. But no, I have been with my girlfriend 6 years actually, so we're good for the moment.
We hope that. So is there anything else new?
We have a petrification blending coming. It was going to be announced today, but we had more important announcements to make, so you will know about it tomorrow. Mine is showing 1.2 1200, and it's not a lot. Well, 1200 it's a lot. I will say it's a lot in this market right now. You could buy 10 Solana. No, not 10 Solana, but you could buy a couple of
Almost.
Solana. You could buy a lot of Polygon. You could buy some Sui as well. I mean, you could do a lot of things with 1.2k.
So yeah.
Before anything like this one, and the most important question is gonna play token be petrified as well.
There's surely going to be ways of how you can utilize the play token to create something that's awesome in Dungeon Master.
Everything is down. I didn't want to check my Polygon bags, but yeah, they are down bad.
You probably didn't want to check any of your bags.
Yeah, so I actually actually this happened to me because I had some USDC set apart for when there is a dump, but I don't. Now that there is a dump, I don't know if I want to take it.
It's always like that. It also works the other way around, right? When things are up, you're like, I'll sell at
Yes.
99,000, and then you like 99,000, but the momentum is really good. It might go above 99,000. So that's what probably happened to some people on Friday. So if you had sold on Friday before the Bybit hack announcement, and then you bought back at 85, 86 today, well, you would have done well.
Yeah, that's true. Happy.
Well, sorry.
Happy Monday +1 in the bold page. Yes, that's the bug we're talking about. It will be solved today. I am sorry because it shouldn't have worked that way. We tried on staging and everything was good. The problem with trying this out is that you need people like to be playing the game, and on the staging we don't have people actively running. So it was kind of hard to test out everything of the USDC user interface changes because we don't have people playing on the test environment that we have.
But there shouldn't be any, right? So the old positions are still in Wombat, and then there's only the what's happening for this season. That's in USDC,
Yes.
right?
No, it's a bug because it is displaying the vault, the Wombat that you have in the vault, and it is also displaying converting that Wombat into USDC because of a bug, because it was configured for anything below season 22 to be taken only as Wombat. But that configuration isn't working because of the bug, so it will be fixed today.
Okay.
What is Cetra?
Cetra? Which one? 2034. So Cetra is the big trading system / market by the German stock exchange. So it's like that would mean that Spielworks is a public listed company and also listed in Frankfurt, like on the not the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. That's a separate kind of trading venue, but the etc. System. So that would be pretty big. If anything, if we were looking for kind of listing, because that's a scenario that we always have to look at somehow, right? I think we would probably go with NASDAQ Nordics at this stage, but because it's easier to get in. Yeah, well, by 2034, that's a lot of time, right? So we'll probably have made it to Cetra by the time as well.
Interesting. Idea for the future: making staking available for red, blue, and yellow MOV tokens. Is it something you have in mind? Not really. But that's something cool. That's something the MOV leader should be able to set up. I would love for them to take the initiative and set up a staking, for example, for the red, blue, and yellow MOV tokens. That's part of what I think that the communities and the mobs should take like ownership over their token and find crazy ways, cool ideas to implement them to them and set them apart from any other token.
But it also would be cool if we had some use for the tokens. If you stake them in Dungeon Master, you could maybe, I don't know, maybe we would have a mob leaderboard of sorts. So then maybe your points will get multiplied with the amount of mob tokens staked or something like that, and then this would result in some kind of a score, and then the winning mob actually gets something, whatever. I don't know, but more mob token utility would surely be good.
What is the floor of BTC and ETH, Adrian and Santiago? I don't know it from memory. I think we're at 92k on BTC, and on ETH, I'm not sure.
What?
The floor for BTC.
The floor for BTC. We're at 80. We're trading at 86 right now.
Oh my god, we're at 86.
You didn't look at the charts
No,
today.
I haven't looked at today. I saw it yesterday, and it was on actually 90. Yeah.
So yeah.
92. Yeah, yesterday was 92. I hit my line.
So what's the floor? How low can it go?
I'm not sure. I haven't done charts on Bitcoin actually.
But what do you think, like psychologically, where like everybody was thinking that 90 is the floor right now, but it clearly wasn't. So
this is an interesting question. Like, do you think the bull run is over?
no, the bull run hasn't started yet.
Oh, you think it hasn't started?
It kind of has, but it's like a stop and go bull run.
Okay.
It's a Trump-like bull run. You don't know when it's gonna continue. What's gonna happen next?
So if you had money, you will buy crypto right now, or you wouldn't? This is not financial advice. Do not take anything Adrian says as financial advice. I am asking that as to you.
I would buy the dip right now.
Okay, will you buy Ethereum or Solana?
Depending on how much money I would have to invest, right? Obviously,
oh, really?
with like an amount of $100, I wouldn't diversify as much. But with like 10K plus, I would definitely diversify across multiple positions. I would take a little bit of probably Bitcoin. I would probably take some Sol. I'm not sure about ETH right now, though. So maybe for Sol, I would wait until this ominous VC unlock that's supposed to happen on the weekend and then buy.
It seems it already. I think it has already priced all these unlocks.
I don't know, right? Because if they actually start selling, and that's what I don't know how much that is, 10 million Sol, then you might want to wait until after. But anyway, if they're VCs, they will not offload. They will not just dump into the market, right? They will offload slowly. So maybe it's not that much of a problem. So let's see, what else would I buy? I would probably, I don't know, maybe I would get some XRP. I would definitely buy a lot of Play once it's live.
XRP. Okay.
Yeah, just for diversification, right? And then I would go into more. So I haven't dug into Sonic, like formerly known as Phantom, as much, but apparently that ecosystem is growing. So, but I think that there also needs to be more AI and kind of application stuff. So I would definitely go into some more like app coins rather than just layer ones and layer twos. So there's definitely a few things that I would get into for like if I were to diversify, but going from the top to bottom, definitely Bitcoin, maybe some XRP, maybe some Sol, or surely some Sol.
Interesting.
I don't know. Probably no Ton, no Sui, no Litecoin. I don't know. I'm just looking, right?
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Yeah, maybe like I said, maybe some Sonic.
Do
There
you
isn't
like
all that
Monad?
many in the
Are you
top
aware of
100 that are
everything
really
they are
interesting,
doing?
to be honest.
Have you heard
Sorry?
about Monad? Monad.
No.
It's a new chain that is on testnet right now. There's also
It's always something on
zero
testnet.
G labs. I like this one in particular. They're building like the first decentralized AI infrastructure chain. They are very big um, on the east. Yes, on China, on Singapore. They're very big. I think they haven't obtained enough traction on this side of the world. Yes, on Europe, on America. But finally actually has value. I was taking a look at it, and I had a little bug of when it released like 2 years ago. I quite cannot remember. And I was going through the process, and then they asked for KYC, and I have seen some comments about they are doing shady stuff with the KYC and the information, so I stopped right there. I'm not sure what to do because I should claim my I
Yeah, so I guess that there's going to be a lot of dilution happening. I don't know. I really have no idea what the max supply of the Pi is, whether it's really 100 billion or whatever this is. Right, so fully diluted, this is sitting at a super high value. It's a really weird, really weird token right now. So I mean, if you've mined it and you can finally sell it and whatever, that's obviously cool. I only know one person from my friends who has been mining this, and they have like 500 or 600 pi, which is great, right? So on the IOU market before, on the pre-market, this was been traded at like what, $20-$30. No way this could have been anywhere close to this. So now we're at $1 something, 130, whatever. I don't know. If this is true, right? If this is the true value and the circulating supply is true, then this would be a top 15 coin, right? So pretty crazy.
There are some tokens I'm looking and I wonder like why do they have so low market cap?
Like Wombat.
Like Wombat. I mean like yeah, like Wombat. There's also D-Bridge, which is interesting. Like do you know them?
No, but you mentioned them earlier today.
Yes, they're like the competence of Wormhole. And they have pretty similar like if they have like 70 or 80% the volume that Wormhole has. On the token of Wormhole, it has 500 million market cap, and the bridge has 20 million market cap.
Okay. So bad tokenomics.
Not really. I think I'm not sure. I'm still trying to find a reason why. I'm more uninvested
Do
on
fine.
Jupiter. I love Jupiter. I love it.
um,
They sent me to Turkey.
Pi was a joke. Mainnet like Core was predicted at 300. Launched it. I don't know what people do in these IOU pre-market trading things. Like why these are being traded at like incredible multiples on what this all ends up being. Because I mean, yeah, 300 for Core, 20, 30 for Pi. How's like how would that be possible, right? So
It's crazy.
yeah, and the trading volumes, I'm not buying them, to be honest.
But when there's high trading volume, you can provide liquidity.
Yeah. Well, there's no dexes for Pi, right? So it's being
I,
traded a lot on OKX, BitGet, Maxi, and
oh, okay.
Gate. So you have like, yeah, 500 million in trading volume. So this is crazy volume. But the volume, if you look at it, doesn't really fit the liquidity. The liquidity is good, but it's like on MaxC, you see 70 million in volume and 20,000 in liquidity plus minus. I'm not buying that volume, sorry. Not calling anyone out. But anyway, we're not here to do analysis.
True. Solar, you said there will be a new petrification blend last week. Is it still coming? Yes, we're doing the announcement tomorrow, and then you will have one day to prepare your blend ingredients for it.
Look, the Templier is seeing down to 55 to 65k range.
Oh, don't say that. I don't want to hold any alt token if Bitcoin goes 55 or 65.
Imagine where Wax would go.
No,
I
please.
mean,
Please
we're
not.
south of 3 cents right now. It's horrible. There was one more.
I
There
love
was.
Wax.
So Robot was bringing this up, but I guess that this is you already elaborated on the issue here.
I'm talking with
with
Gbrook because he sent me a lot of suggestions regarding the vault, which are cool. Right now, as well, like a TLDR is like the vault doesn't make sense if we're using USDC.
Why?
Because I guess the idea behind the vault was, and I haven't discussed it with you yet, but the idea behind the vault is to also decrease the sell pressure of the tokens released every season. So you
Yeah,
vault them, you get the contribution bonus, and that's it. But
this,
what do you win with decreasing the sell pressure of a stable token?
I mean, there's still it still means that people are forfeiting their. I mean, from this perspective, I totally get it, right? Because that was the original motivation why we introduced the vault. But if now you're basically saying you're delaying your own payout for a while in exchange for some utility, yes, it doesn't have as much of an effect as it used to with the Wombat tokens, but it still has an effect on are you withdrawing value from the ecosystem or not, right, at this stage. And so you're basically keeping it and perpetuating it for a while. So there's still some merit to it, not the same. So I'd be keen in learning what the alternative to this is.
Yes, I'm definitely keen because it seems like right now, since we made the change, there's a lot of potential. So we can elaborate into it.
This one. Hi, Ridana Siat. First time I read that name in a comment. Could you take a look at the collector mythic gears? Their boost is so low for mythic gear. Collector one. Question is, how would we change it?
Yeah.
There's always ways.
I mean, you can use gems to boost them.
That's for sure. Okay, so that was a little bit. I mean, obviously, if you have more questions coming up regarding Dungeon Master and whatnot, we'll still be here. But let's move into Playmind and what's new and why the fuzz or Playmind and whatnot, right? Because we've been talking about it a little bit, and it's time that we talk about it more. What we really are working on is making the play token and Playmind protocol a success, right? So we're doing a bunch of steps that are supposed to enforce that and reinforce that. So some of that might come as a little bit of a surprise. So we want to be here to actually talk about it, and some of that, like you might have foreseen that for a while. But what we want is essentially showing everyone that we're building this coherent ecosystem. And if we have new people come in and look at Play and Playmind, that it's totally clear that there's a large ecosystem of well-established products, of a lot of people using, of a community that's already there, which is people who are playing the games actually, who are active in Discord, who are using the app, who are using Atomic Hub and so on, and that this will all feed into the success of Playmind, right? what PlayMind is, just to reiterate on this, define the dollar. PlayMind is not an agent. PlayMind is AI infrastructure, right? So it's not GPT. Like GPT is a language model, right? So we're in general not talking about language models as much. We're talking about data that can be used in order to train AI agents, and by the way, do a lot more with that, right? For us, this is a data aggregation layer for games that aggregates and collects data that can be used to train AI agents. These AI agents a lot of them will be deep learning, based on deep learning models, not necessarily language models, but hey, there's like all kinds of possibilities depending on the type of data that we collect. The type of data that we're currently working on, that we're collecting, will not be suited very well for language models, right? So there's going to have to be a separate approach to this if we do that. But you can basically use models like TensorFlow based or whatever, that you can then train with the type of data that PlayMind will be aggregating, and then you can have these agents actually play the game for you, right? So that's going to be there might be a language model component to this, especially when setting goals, right? So if you look at existing agent frameworks, and there's also a lot of that flowing around in the Web3 space, obviously, with AI16Z, with whatever the game protocol and whatnot, right? There's hundreds by now, I guess. That's really cool, right? There's a lot of stuff that you can play around with, and that already does a lot of the trick when it comes to AI agent integration. So we don't want to reinvent the wheel while being kind of, hey, yeah, you can use an agent to play a game. No, it's about kind of organizing a proper data infrastructure that can yield good results. So you can also choose sets of data that you use to train the agents, right? But also that data will be able to be used for all kinds of other things. And there's a lot of interesting use cases for a lot of data. And if you talk to game developers, game publishers, then there's probably a lot more than just AI that they will come up with, right? From a kind of, hey, this is what we want to use that for, right? Or AI agents specifically, or whatever, NPCs, player characters, and whatnot. It's just that from a kind of communications and marketing perspective, we want to be as slick and as simple as possible, right? So if you start talking about all the things that you can do with that kind of data, then you will basically not have this kind of clean messaging anymore. So that's why we're focusing on AI agents. But it's not what you had in mind. Define the dollar. It's not a GPT trained to play games. And future proof. That's going to be the good thing. If this is based on data, then you will be able to plug all kinds of different models into this, right? And basically just allow people to train kind of all kinds of different agents based on different models, based on the same data that will yield different results, right? So it's going to be more of a plug and play thing. And where's the monetization for PlayMind? So essentially, this is going to boil down to using data, right? By proxy, this will mean that if anyone uses an agent or rents or buys an agent that has been created using data, or has been trained using data that has been aggregated via PlayMind, then people will have to pay and play for that, and then this will flow through the entire ecosystem, right? So the game developers will get a share, the protocol will get a share, and the people creating the agent will get a share, and the people providing the data will get a share, right? So that's where kind of the monetization for PlayMind users will come from, so that we will incentivize all of the players of any games that we integrate this with, to actually switch on collection of their data. There is a huge discussion about kind of what do you need for that, right? So do you need licensing for this? Like how do you actually get a license to use the data from a game? So it's not as easy as basically just taking, let's say, screenshots or screencasts of a game. It's an entirely there's a big discussion, let's put it that way, where it's actually quite clear that you're not allowed to commercially use screencasts, let's say YouTube videos or Twitch streams or whatever, of somebody playing a game to train AI commercially, right? Because you won't have a license to use the intellectual property of this. So yeah, so in effect, yes, the player data, the play data is the product, and people will get, like, people offering this data to others will be paid for offering this, right? So that's where kind of the magic of AI data and Web3 actually come together. So I think that's actually pretty cool. And there's a few attempts that have been made to do this. So we think that there are certain things that you need to have under control if you want to make that successful, and that we have most of these components actually under our control, right? So what's in for the game studios, what's in for the publishers, why would they find that exciting? How easy or difficult is it to integrate this? How heavy is this going to be on basically machines when people play kind of AAA games? Like a lot of these discussions that currently kind of plays in our favor.
This is an
So
interesting
if there are
one.
any more,
So, how do I know if the data is a human or an AI playing your games? From a
that's
user or player
you go ahead.
perspective, I think it's very difficult. And as we progress into the future, you won't be able to know which player is an AI and which player is a real player, unless they are insulting you on voice chat, like on Counter Strike. But
Might still be an
that's
AI.
it could still be an AI with the voice of the president, for example. You could say. But yeah, I think going on into the future, it will be possible, and it might also be a solution for stuff like queue times. For example, when you're trying to play a game, let's say League of Legends or Call of Duty, you go into the queue. Sometimes when you are too high into your ranking, it takes you up to 30 minutes to find a match. So this is where AI could also help, decreasing these queue times, getting to create a better player experience for everyone.
Yeah, and I mean, this is something that's happening already, right? That you have self-training models. You basically give them no data whatsoever, and they have to find everything out themselves. And they will basically try and error through things, and then they will learn and they will improve, and they can get really good at games, right? It's just that this is really heavy. This takes a lot of time, and whenever the environment changes, you would have to have training for them again, right? So, but there is, in fact, you're right with this, that you won't necessarily know, but I also don't think that this is necessarily a problem. So one thing is that there's more to data than just the data, right? So also there will have to be a component of metadata to this. So for instance, what has happened during that time, right? And that's something that we're working on as well, right? So like, what's the semantics of the data, right? So that's an important thing, and a simple solution for that is basically asking, right? And this is something that an AI will have big issues. Like if that's an AI that basically plays the game, the AI will have big issues essentially telling you in a little kind of whatever questionnaire, okay, this is what I did here, right? Because it's hard to have a model that does both really well. But at the same time, maybe it is going to be exactly what we want, right? That you have that you run an agent that basically produces data in order to offer the data to others to actually train more AI agents. That's not a problem, but in order to do that, you would have to go through the hoops, basically. Let's say pay for an agent that runs the game, that plays the game for you.
Do you know what is a teabag?
Of course, I know what a teabag is.
Okay, I found this extremely funny.
That's just you.
Uh, I mean, you haven't played any game if you haven't been teabagged by any other player. and then you can feel the rage inside you, and you want to destroy your enemy. Where is it?
At some
Uh,
points, we know how an AI moves and how a human moves. I'm not sure about that. You will not know the difference at some point, right?
Sometimes when you tell, yeah, this guy must be a bot, yeah, it's because you don't know sometimes how users behave. And I think it's also a possibility. I'm not sure if we will do that, but for example, to have an AI agent that plays like you. Right now, I think the current AIs that you have, they have a set default way of behaving. So yeah, they might behave all in the same way. But once you get all this data, you might be able to train your own AI to play like you. And so it will take different decisions that it will do a different player agent.
Yep.
I think
There's definitely some merit to this. I mean, there's other projects focusing on precisely this, right? So we train AI to behave exactly like certain players who are super famous and whatnot, right? The problem is actually not necessarily to have an AI that is really good in playing a game, because the problem will be, for instance, in the number of inputs that a human can make, right, and the number of inputs that an AI can make, because obviously a machine can generate so much more inputs to a game client. So this is part of the framework for PlayMind, right? That the creators of the game can actually limit how the agents can access the game, and how many inputs, for instance, they can do on which level, right, per, let's say, second or minute, so that there is no kind of entirely unfair advantage, right? Also, what we envision is that agents play the game in real time, not in like, okay, that's a background job that you whatever that you can accelerate and then you just walk away, and 2 minutes later the job is finished, but it would actually be real time because it plays the game for you just like a human would do, right? In that respect, for this specific use case, and I find that incredibly interesting, right, where this will lead us, right? So imagine you can like basically have any game being played by an AI for you in real time, and you can watch and like basically switch between you play and the bot plays for you, right, at any point in time, and you can give it commands and say, okay, please farm gold in Diablo 2 for the next 30 minutes, and then it does that, and you go for lunch and you can just watch it do this, and just basically just find the most efficient way of doing this. um, that's incredibly interesting, right? It's basically like it's an improved version of Twitch, right? Watching others play, you get to tell them what they are supposed to do, right?
I like it a lot, actually. I also like the idea of them being like a AI companion, like to be able to help you walk through a game, or just giving you company, giving you comments like, why did you do that, or why should you do that, or you should expect this to happen, so watch out. Those are things that are very important. I love that concept.
And this is where language models come into play much more, right? So I'm not excluding the use of language models at all, right? But if you want to talk to people, both in voice but also in text, right? And it would be so cool if you can just. So this is also how we envision NFT marketplaces to be used long term, right? Imagine you can basically say, oh, I'm approaching this boss, whatever. The I always say the Black Dragon, right? Because I'm a big Heroes of Might and Magic fan, and dragons were a big thing. So you're approaching the Black Dragon and you want to kind of kill this, and you maybe failed twice already, and then you ask the companion, "Hey, what do I need to do in order to win?" Right? And then it basically tells you, "Hey, if you upgrade your sword to an axe and your shield to a tower shield, whatever, and then you use these boots of resistance, and then maybe you have this other companion, whatever, or sidekick, and then you move like this and this, and then you'll be able to slay it in 2 minutes, right? And then you do this, and then you say, okay, like how much is that? Like how much do I have to spend in order to get the to upgrade my sword to an axe of darkness, whatever. And then it basically tells you, hey, this is $8. Do you want to buy it? And then you say yes. And then it basically goes and buys that off the NFT marketplace, right? And so this is a much cooler interface for any NFT marketplace than going to sorry to say that even about Atomic Hub, but then go into Atomic Hub and basically browse through everything and set some filters, and then find, okay, this is the X that I wanted. So show me the cheapest ones, and then you buy this, but then you have to compare the values for this, and maybe it's not good enough, so you have to take the other one, right? So you'd rather have a conversational interface for this. And this is, by the way, also something. Sorry, I'm talking a lot. I'm realizing this, but
No, it's good.
this this is also something that Amazon was planning for Alexa, right? Amazon, the end goal for Alexa was supposed to be that people basically don't realize that they're talking to a bot, to an agent, right? And they would basically just tell her, "Hey, can you order me new toilet paper because we just ran out?" Right? And then you're basically in the background, everything's ordered, or that you can basically have a camera, right? Like in the things with the screen, you can say, "Okay, I need an outfit for tonight. I'm going, or for the next weekend, I'm going to a wedding. I need a good outfit and I need a suit and whatever," right? And then you can basically you can like dress up virtually, and then you can say, okay, now please order this for me, and it's going to be delivered in 2 days, right? So this was a lot, like the commercialization of Alexa was about a lot about the conversational interfaces to actually buy stuff, right? And with AI agents, um, companions, and these kinds of things, you will actually be able to do that with NFTs and game items and so on. And it's actually incredibly much easier to do that with things that are NFTs than with things that are not NFTs, right? So I think again, this is where Web3 and gaming and AI go together really, really well. There's so much potential in this, and so much more fun, right? When it comes to a let's go. Let's basically let's play interesting games, and let's shortcut wherever we don't want to just spend hours and hours and basically just figure out the best components, right? So it's we see that a lot, right? With things that used to be super difficult now become super easy for people. Things that used to be chores now become, well, you basically outsource them to somebody else, and it's just so much easier and faster to get started with certain things than it used to be, whatever, 10, 20 years ago.
What Bing also says is very true. Like, I think right now people are taking, well, like in everything, they are taking in advantage that AI is very famous, is very popular, that PCs are investing into AI, so they are calling everything AI right now. It's like some people have been saying we have rebranded agents, chatbots, into calling them AI agents, but chatbots have been with us like since 10 years ago. So that's
Or
very
more.
interesting. Or more, yeah.
um yeah, I mean, we're also pretending like AI is some kind of magic, right? So, and it's not, because AI has been around for a lot longer, right? Even when I was in university, we were having AI courses back then already. Still have this one book that I bought. This is like I think that's even from the 80s, right? This is like this super thick. Clippy,
You know,
exactly.
I,
Clippy
I,
was
I
her companion.
I am being serious that I remember the Clippy idea once every week. Like whenever I want to release a meme coin or an agent, I think like, yeah, I will do it with the Clippy idea.
I
It
think
will be so cool.
I think the difference is in how you set them up, right? Because with AI you have to train it, um, and then it can also learn. Whereas rule-based models typically don't learn, right? So, and this is what Clippy was. Clippy was an an agent, but not an AI agent. It was a companion, right? But was rule-based entirely. So if you're here, this is what it will show. So AI would be really great for it, because AI can react to things that, well, it hasn't seen before, right? In the inference. So going back to the question by Robert, um, for most models, for the inference, you don't need as much CPU power, right? So we do envision that most of the inference will actually happen on device, and the training will not, typically, right? That's how you can split it up. And this is really important, right? Can I opt out? Yeah, no, you don't have to opt out. You have to opt in, right? So we want to provide incentives by you can earn play tokens by offering your data, but you don't have to. That's the whole point, right? That this is a compliant way of dealing with this, and it's opt in by everyone. It's opt in by the game because you can't override. You can't. It's not sitting on top of the game and basically just screen capturing the screen. Like I said earlier, right? It's a licensing issue. Are we allowed to do that? No, we're not. If we don't have an agreement with the game, right? Obviously, that can be circumvented or worked around for a while in the beginning. So some early versions of the product will do that, right? Whether we ever make them public or not is a different story. But in the end, it's literally like it's like a better version. Let's say, like let's use Dungeon Master as an example, right? You could have an AI agent play Dungeon Master for you, right? So you don't have to you don't have to um, buy unlock the queue run feature. You can basically have an agent do that for you, and it can also do more. It can basically equip, unequip, re-equip, whatever, work through the well of wealth for you as quickly as possible, claim things as in a proper way, right? Choose how to do runs based off of the stamina that you have left, and all of these things, right? Why don't we apply this to Dungeon Master first, right? I think that's actually already pretty cool. If I can have, if I can set my AI agent to actually play Dungeon Master for me. So, but anyone who doesn't want to provide their data and anyone who doesn't want that, to use that doesn't have to, right? So it's actually quite simple. And so that also goes with GDPR, right? So if people opt into this and you tell them, okay, this is the data protection rules and whatnot, people typically don't tend to read this anyway. But GDPR won't be an issue there. We don't plan on having a lot of personal data, but in any case, people can opt into this. And then also individual data sets that do have, data that does have a personal data component to it can be deleted.
Nice. I like it. You're inspired today.
I mean, this is, in theory, this is so cool. In practice, this is such a nightmare. We've been talking about this a few times, and when we actually went into evaluating what can be done with renting out your bandwidth or your CPU, GPU outside of actual mining, and mining obviously depends a lot on the crypto market. So don't mine today, but this is what render does in essence, right? Or there's other deeper networks essentially renting out compute for AI. Where are all the comments?
Taking a look into the. I got lost.
Look at this. Look at this reaction, right? So we're obviously implementing PlayMind into Dungeon Master.
When the next new item add in the shop Dungeon Worlds? Dungeon Worlds? Is there a shop for Dungeon Worlds?
No, but there's a shop. So I guess the question is when the next shop in Dungeon Master. When does the next shop item?
As soon as we have the shop changes ready, which should be underway.
Which shop
it's
changes?
Because I want to release a cool item, and that's it. That's why I'm waiting.
So you're teasing again, and you're not telling people what's what?
The shop changes. We have talked about them a lot. You mean the item?
Yes.
I have to run it by you first, so let's not talk about it.
That's stuff that you're promising that you haven't run by me yet. Okay, good.
Yes, because I know you will accept. We have discussed it previously, but we cannot talk about it yet.
Crazy.
How many more taverns I have to ask the DM Worlds RPG update when? I should probably copy my DM with Solar where I explain all my ideas. I like your ideas, Hack. The thing is that we already, I mean, we are working towards it, but we also, and people need to understand we don't have an unlimited number of developers. So we need to prioritize some stuff first, and then we should be able to keep growing into that.
But we've also spoken to a bunch of, well, let's call them external providers slash studios to take over work. Now the question is, what is it that we want to release there? Yeah, we once promised us or talked about this a small experience as well, just like the Telegram game. So we had a concept for a Telegram game, and the whole Telegram stuff went down the drain to a certain extent, right? So this wasn't the work that we had put in there didn't come to fruition. So after play launch, we'll be able to present something cool there.
Golding well. I'm afraid to do this.
You should be.
Yes, I'm not sure this is the best approach.
You will make a few hundred people probably really happy, and you'll make a few hundred people really, really angry.
Yeah, they will take out the pitchforks.
The first chart history jump of BTC is coming. Remember, it always falls in Feb and jumps hard mid-March.
I'll take your word for it, and I'll buy more. No, I'm kidding. I won't buy more.
What would you buy?
I will buy. I think I'm already exposed enough to Solana, so I wouldn't be buying Solana. I will be buying Sui. I like Sui. I will be buying Sui. I will be buying a couple of B-Bridge token because I think I like it. I will buy Ethereum, actually.
Wow.
Let me see the list. I wouldn't buy XRP just because I like to hold tokens. I know what I'm doing and things I can interact with the ecosystem. So I don't know anything about XRP.
Pure financial play, right?
I'll buy a little bit of AVAX because, yeah, I have used AVAX and I like it. AVAX is nice.
Oh, wow. Really going deep now.
Yes. Have you seen the new? No, you haven't. But there's a guy trying to CTO Aptos.
Sorry, say again. What's with Aptos?
There's a guy that is trying to do a community takeover on Aptos.
On Aptos. Good luck with that.
Yes.
Okay, that's crazy.
I'm not sure if he will succeed, but Polygon I have enough. Maybe a little bit more of Jupiter because of the buybacks. It would be interesting.
Okay. Worlds plus chain mobs equals best game. Maybe.
Okay, next formula. Ripple is banker coin. It seems like I'm not sure how to interact with the ecosystem. Like, if I get to dive into it, like, where do I start? Is there anything to do? Have you seen the last comments of the CEO of Sui talking about things are coming, what that no one expects in the ecosystem? I think it is likely the strategic reserve.
Is there something I don't know about Sui?
They I don't know what they did, but they are pretty close to the Trump government, and they even financed some of the balls and parties that have been taking place. So I guess it is part of it. Like, it will not only be a Bitcoin strategic reserve, but rather a US based blockchain reserve.
Yeah, and that's not going to be just blockchain. That's I've been
All
saying
token.
this in private conversations. I think it's going to be Trump coin as well. So
I
Trump
don't
will
really
essentially.
think they will put Trump coin in there.
I
I
think they
really
will.
don't think it. If it
Why
is
wouldn't they?
a government thing, you cannot really like promote a meme coin or a support token of the current president.
You could put Doge in there.
You could put, yeah, you could put Doge, but I don't really think it is fair to put the president token over there.
I think I think that's exactly what will happen. So there's two things, right? One is that Trump is a top, let's say top 40 coin right now, right? So if you do outside of Bitcoin, then you will do a basket. You will do Bitcoin, you will do XRP, you will do Sol, probably all the things that are that are on the list for the zero tax thing, right? You might do, maybe you might do Sui, maybe you might do, I don't know, Litecoin, Doge, but then why not do a little bit of Trump as well, or actually a lot of Trump because it's a top 50 coin, top 40 coin, right? And Trump has actually reserved 80% of the supply to hand out to Americans, right? That's what he said, and I think that would be incredibly smart to actually give people so this is how I literally think it's going to happen. So there's going to be a wallet in the X app, right? And you'll have to kind of KYC yourself to be as being an American, and then you'll be eligible to get portions of Trump over time for doing certain things, whatever. I don't know. You'll be able to get portions of Trump, and then he'll announce that the Trump token will be part of the strategic reserve. So then the price will go up, and all Americans will effectively be getting assets that will appreciate in value because the government will be buying it back, right, and putting it into a reserve, and everyone will be happy about this. So this is how you can make your voters happy. So wait for it, give it a few months. This is going to
We
happen.
can do a little bet, a little wagering here. I
Mm-hmm.
say they won't put Trump in the strategic reserve. You're saying that 100% sure they will put it.
Yeah. What's the wager?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
One
Um,
Trump.
one,
Uh,
one Sui.
yeah. Well.
Sui serve fealty to the king, get 10 Trump. I vote for Trump, 10 Trump.
But also imagine Trump. So it's kind of unlikely that he'll manage to turn around this whole "hey, I can have a third term" thing, right? That's like, I think the likelihood of that happening is still pretty low at this stage. I don't know, right? But creating this government reserve coin that's named after him, this is his legacy, right? Because any future government will not be able to get rid of that, right? They can't just say, oh, we'll sell all the Trump tokens from the reserve because we don't like the name Trump in there. Because they will basically piss off everybody who holds Trump. And that's going to be like, what, 50, 100 million Americans, right? So this is his legacy. It's going to be there forever in all the wallets and all the in the reserve. I think it's awesome.
I have a question. You might be able to answer because I don't know. Does Jerome Powell have anything to do with this? Because I think he said that if he still works for the government, there won't be any strategic reserve for cryptocurrency.
How long do you think
I mean, my
any
question is:
person
Does
who's in
is it true
the
that he has a saying on that, or it isn't?
hell do I know? I mean, I don't know how that stuff works in the U.S., but I mean, Powell is the head of the Fed, right? So if they he has a lot of power, but do you think that if the Fed will not reduce interest rates, they're going to be very popular with Trump going forward, right? Trump wants low interest rates.
Interesting.
So and as it's been going, right? So how often you've been in Turkey, right? How often do you think Erdogan has replaced the head of the national bank in the last 4 or 5 years? I think it's been like 3 or 4 times
I
because
don't have any.
they've been consistently increasing the interest rates, right? Because inflation was so high, they've been increasing interest rates. So inflation went to 30%, 40%, 50%. The interest rates went to 20, 30, 40%, right? And obviously for the economy, that's not great, or it's actually really, really bad, right? So Erdogan was trying to put the lid on this. And then he finally found someone as a president of the national bank who would actually put a lid on this, and they I don't know, they limited the interest rates by to what, 18% or something. I don't know the exact numbers, don't quote me on that, right? But this is what Erdogan has been doing. So why wouldn't Trump do anything similar if he doesn't like where the Fed is going? And then obviously if he wants to do a reserve, a Bitcoin reserve, and he thinks that's the right thing to do, or a crypto reserve, or whatever, and then there's somebody, whoever that is, who's not in line with that, come on, replace them.
Interesting.
So, chairperson, sure. Boss.
I like your approach.
So it's not my approach, but if you're not afraid of the consequences of anything
Your
that you're doing,
explanation.
it's, I think, like this. It's the same thing with the tariffs, right? If you don't care about the consequences, especially short term, but also maybe not even long term, then you can do whatever, and you can scare everybody, and you can basically show them who's the boss and push them around, right? So I think that's exactly what Trump's doing, is basically showing everyone, hey, don't mess with me, because I can strong arm you into basically anything, right? It's this discussion with Ukraine, and this discussion with Mexico and Canada, with about Greenland or the Panama Channel, like all of this stuff. How can you have so many enemies at the same time and still proliferate? And it's only been a month. It's only been 6 weeks since his inauguration, right? It's really crazy. Or 5 weeks, something like that.
That guy is crazy.
And the same goes with Musk, right? Doing so many things and doging everything, like it's really crazy. But that plays into the whole reserve thing as well, because what do you do with all the money that you have left over from saving on whatever, development, healthcare, whatever they're saving on, right? They're saving tens of billions, hundreds of billions. This is precisely the money that you can, because you need free cash flow in order to build a reserve. You don't want to print too much money, because this is going to drive inflation later on. So it's actually smart to build a reserve either of US stock or of US driven cryptocurrencies.
I'm not sure of anything right now. Like what is cool and what I can say is that it's so interesting that the United States is like one of the only countries in which people from all over the world are interested in. Like there's no any other country like I will pay attention to, like, hey, what's happening with Canada or with Germany? But with the United States, you're practically forced, like, to know about what is going on because it affects you.
It's very interesting indeed, because in Germany there were elections, right? Like countrywide elections, right, for the new parliament of Germany, and some news outlets had their top headlines on Sunday, on the day of the election, not about the election, but about Trump. This is how crazy this is.
It's
right?
interesting.
That people worry more in their countries about Trump than about the most important political stuff that's going on in the country. People all want to move to Germany. Sure about that right now? I'm not sure. I'm not so happy with the results of the elections, but
That's what I don't like really. I think I can comment and analyze on politics from my point of view, but really, if you do not live in the United States, it's very difficult to have a correct approach, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it must be super hard to just have two options, essentially, right?
Yes,
you can choose from. So that's obviously, yeah, this is hard.
So, for example, Musk doing all these cuts and removing a lot of stuff. I'm not sure where it will drive it. Sure, you're saving money. There are some stupid things that have been reported, but maybe they're doing, in my opinion, of course, they are doing it too fast. Maybe they're not taking their time to understand what those measures or that money was really going to. So there might be some repercussions there.
Of course. That's interesting. Define the dollar. The tariff stuff makes me mad. Our president says our people are gonna pay more for goods. So China says, well, then our people are gonna pay more. All it comes from the people into the government's pockets, taxes under another name. That's an interesting way of looking at this. But yeah, you're right. Right. So hopefully there's a good way to redistribute all that. And maybe, like I said, everyone holding a little bit of an asset, and that asset constantly appreciating from the money that is being made from that. Why not? But so far, this is yet to play out, right?
Pinton says, "Sorry, I'm not able to join in the middle of our annual audit. Everyone, let's just wish good luck to Pinton. He has been very stressed lately because of that."
Good luck, Beantown.
What is Bundesautobahn? I don't know if I should pronounce any word before you telling me what it is.
Bundesautobahn. Well,
Yeah.
that's highways, freeways, right? And in Germany, there's no general speed limit on highways.
Okay.
So you can, like, I think about 70% or so of German highways don't have a speed limit. I don't know. I'm in two minds about this. Yes, it's nice to drive fast every once in a while. And a lot of Americans who come to Germany actually want to do this. Hey, can I rent a Porsche or whatever and just or a Ferrari and just drive on the Autobahn, right? And then they don't want to on a racetrack. They want on the Autobahn because yes, it's actually fancy to be able to go 50 kilometers straight, right? Because it's like very straight. In many places, very straight highways, and then you don't have a speed limit, and you can go up to 400 kph, right? So there's this funny story of this Czech billionaire who actually drove his Bugatti Chiron over the German Autobahn with like 421 kph, and it's not legal, right? He also didn't crash, but yeah.
I don't see much adoption of crypto in the European market for the next 4 years.
Unfortunately, I agree.
You agree?
Europe, I mean, there's always small markets in Europe that are faster, but France has been very kind of friendly to crypto for a while, and now they're not again, right? They're pushing back on certain things. And Germany has been. We finally hear your dog again.
I'm sorry, but you must be happy that he's back.
Chad probably is. Maybe some of you have heard my kids as well when they came home. But then, like, if we talk about the main markets, right, like the biggest countries, the biggest economies, I don't see how crypto will get adopted very, very quickly, unless there is really something big happening, like the reserve. Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay. Hello. The dog
Sorry, I
protects
just sneeze.
regulators. Actually, I like regulations. I think that's what the space needs. Like, we need clear rules and set guidelines for us to move forward.
And I think that's what's going to happen in the US as well under Trump, that there's going to be clearer guidelines, and they're going to be very, very lenient, probably.
Yes. So I don't know if you have seen, but the SEC has already withdrew or retired most of the charges against Coinbase and against Uniswap, yes, against most of these companies. And the problem was that, in my opinion, we didn't have a set guide or a set of rules for you to go along with them. And the SEC, what they were trying to do is they were trying to make regulation through litigation instead of making regulation through a set of guidelines. I don't think anyone that is serious and that believes in crypto and Web3 adoption is against regulation. Actually, they would love to have the rule book to be able to work towards it.
And I think that's the problem, because I mean, regulators can only do so much based on law, right? Because they're not outside of the law, and if there's no lawmaking being done, then there's fairly little that the regulators can do. I mean, they can definitely be more lenient, but they can't really set up their own rules unless there's, well, law that would would play into this, right? So I think sure it starts with a new chairman of the SEC, but this needs to extend to actually better law. That's clearer, because then also this is harder to change, right? Because right now you replace a few people at the top of the SEC and everything changes again. That's probably not what you want, right? You will probably want a little bit of more safety and long-term thinking in terms of what's going to happen with crypto in the US. But same in Europe. It's just that in Europe we've had my car, right? So we do have sets of rules. They're not up to date already, right? They're outdated. So if you talk about still a lot of NFT stuff going on and meme coins and whatnot, right? There's already a lot of things that are kind of difficult to express within the realms of the of these guidelines, but it's already a lot better. Sorry,
That's also a problem
I had to laugh about
because
this.
any German any German is dangerous, but Germany is cool.
Sorry, what do you
I
want
mean,
to say?
yeah, that the first time the MiCar came out, I was like, great, they have guidelines. The problem is that the space evolves so fast that emerging technologies arise every couple weeks, and my dog agrees with me. So the thing is that in we experience entire cycles in a matter of weeks. Like we were very frenzied 4 weeks ago because of all the prices, and now we're like sad because BTC is close to 80K. So we have to find out a way for regulators or these guidelines to come out faster, because taking 1 or 2 years to set up rules for every emerging technology doesn't work at all.
So if you think that coming up with my car took 1 or 2 years, you're so wrong.
It took, I think it took way longer, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
I
Yeah.
think they started already around 2018, like the first discussions, maybe 2017, 2018, where they were talking about a common set of regulations. So I think the first time I heard Mika, back then it was called Mika, was probably around 2018 or 19. Vince is asking, there are many risks that your team have identified, from your own execution risk and adoption risk to external market risk and regulatory uncertainty. Which of these that you think pose the greatest risk? Right now, because of what's happening in the US, I think that it's mostly markets that are kind of that are influencing our decision making, especially on a short term, because it's very unpredictable, right? So the volatility, intraday volatility, of course, on days like today and yesterday or Friday or whatever, are crazy. But also the weekly volatilities, they're also pretty crazy right now, because nobody knows like what's what, right? And that makes it really hard to plan ahead, right? When it comes to okay, how much whatever, because that is a simple example, right? We make part of our revenue in crypto, but we pay most of our bills in cash, in fiat. So when do we convert things so that we are like that we can pay in the most efficient way, right? How often do we do that? We've been changing our lines of thinking here, right? From basically holding long term because we expect kind of price to go up, to holding short term, to whatever, right? I think that's a big factor. The regulatory things are mostly under control. The adoption, we've been pretty good at actually creating adoption for things ourselves, right? In Wombat and across our products. So I think that's pretty good. And our own execution is always a risk, obviously, that we're trying to, by working with the right partners, maximizing the likelihood of success, right? That's also a change that we've made, that we work a lot more with specialized people rather than trying to internalize everything within our own company. That has a few advantages. we can go faster, we can scale faster, we can scale up and down faster, right? So that also comes with kind of the market outlook, right? If we know that the market, if we knew that the market would go a certain way, then we could actually plan ahead better. But if that's not the case, then we'd rather have agreements with external parties that are, well, that we can basically change rather quickly.
When Taverns did not even trade on Monday. In fact, past 3 Mondays, we thought you were busy campaigning for the election. The newly elected government of a right conservative how friendly towards cryptocurrencies generally.
It's interesting. I used to be active in politics, actually.
Oh, really?
Back in the days, yeah.
Even for president?
Um, well, now I live in Portugal, right? So it's hard for me to campaign for elections in Germany. But I still voted. I'm not sure whether our votes arrived in time, but we still did that. So no, that was really coincidental. The last so one was my birthday, right? And the last 2 weeks, I was dealing with a little bit of a few health issues, and so last week we moved it to Thursday. Ended up moving this to Thursday.
It is likely
Yesterday.
next week we will have to move it again.
Sorry?
It is likely next Monday we will have to move it. I'll tell you why in a call, yeah. But just for you guys to know.
I don't know yet.
Unless Adrian wants to jump in with anyone else, maybe.
Okay, so you're not going to be available.
Yeah, I won't be available.
Okay. Anyway, so the government, we don't know who the government is going to be. It's fairly likely there's going to be the Conservative Party together with the Social Democrats. It's kind of the most likely scenario for Germany. Overall, I think that the conservative parties, the more right-wing parties, will be more open to crypto, I suppose. It's a little bit interesting because the party that has been most progressive with crypto so far in Germany, the Liberals, so also the last Treasury Secretary of Treasury, Finance Minister in Germany, he was a liberal. Right, so the Liberals were the most liberal. What a surprise when it comes to crypto. There used to be a staple in the German parliament. They didn't get in, right? Because in Germany there's a 5% rule for the government for the parliament for any party to get in. They didn't make it this time. They had, I think, 8% last time, and now they slipped below 5. So they're not in. So I don't know. I also don't really know about the left-wing party. The Linke, the left, I have no idea what they think about crypto, but I can't imagine them being very bullish on it. And they made it in at over 8%. So interesting.
Polluted air is enough for lung cancer in 2025. I gotta say that Turkish people smoke a lot, but a lot. I even had to search like the prevalence of lung cancer on them, and they're increasing even with women. And the value that they're increasing the most is the prevalence of lung cancer in women. Just a little fun fact.
I like this. Well, not liking this thought, but appreciating the line of thinking by Hack. In my opinion, blockchain gamers are fighting against short sellers and traders. Crypto is half people chasing the buck, and the other is trying to build up digital assets. Again, just my opinion. No, I think you're totally right, and this is part of the problem in the current environment, right? Because it's really hard to play a game that, let's say, promises you play to earn, and we can use Wombat as an example for this, right? So we changed the payout from stables, from a more liquid currency to Wombat about a year and a half ago, because we wanted to have that flexibility that this moves up and down with the price pool moves up and down with the price with the price of of the token, and if the token goes up, then the prize pool gets bigger, and yada yada yada, right? So there was a lot of advantage to that when the price went up, when speculators were driving the price up. But then when speculators drove the price down, this got out of hand, right? And then suddenly the price pool is super low, and we had to pedal back. So I think this is totally normal in Web3 gaming, because you have speculators they come in and they make everything super expensive, right? The people who bought land in Illuvium in this 70 million NFT drop, right? They were speculating on making a lot of money with this land off of people playing the game, right? So
I
now,
was
obviously,
speculating to play it. Yeah, sorry. I love you is it's a weak point for me. You can continue with your idea.
so sorry, to me that's the most visible example. Same was with the sandbox or whatever, right? There's a lot of examples where
Oh, the
where
sandbox.
speculators.
I haven't seen the price of the lands. You can continue.
I don't even want to know. um, but it's probably like $20 or something for land now. I don't know.
0.08 Ethereum.
Oh, that's not so bad, actually. I thought it would be
Yeah.
worse. But yeah, so speculators on tokens and so on, basically wanting this to go up. But and I think we discussed that maybe a few weeks ago, right? It's really, really hard for an asset that's being valued at, let's say, fully diluted valuation of a gaming coin, let's say $500 million. And this was normal a year ago, right? That any like a big gaming project coming out would have a valuation north of 500 million, maybe a billion. Um, upon launch. And if you think about the fundamentals needed in order to justify $1 billion valuation, there would have to be hundreds of thousands of active people at any point in time, right? Basically playing the game, spending money in the game. So we're talking top 100 games worldwide, maybe top 50 games worldwide, that just from a kind of pure fundamental value, they could justify a 1 billion or $500 million valuation for their token. If imagine Fortnite had a token, or Valorant or PUBG or whatever, right? These would be $1 billion projects. But outside of that, there wouldn't be so many, right? So that maybe if like, let's just talk about fundamental value, right? There would probably be 30, 40, 50 game projects that would have $1 billion+ valuation in their token, right? So now we're talking mass market. And then we're going back to Web3, and you're thinking, okay, the people playing the game can't justify, or they can't put in enough money into this ecosystem to justify a valuation of a billion, or even $500 million, or even 100 million, right? So what I think where this is going to go, where this has to go in order to be well, long-term viable, is that valuations of typical Web3 games will end up being in the 10, 20, 30, 50 million range, maybe, right? And we're going to see a lot of those. And the goal can't be that every one of those goes to 200 million or 500 million. So speculators actually should be out for the most part, right? So I think that's going to be much, much more healthy if we don't expect this to go this to be the next 500 million token. But instead we just expect that. So even if you want to speculate, maybe this you can speculate this to go from 2 million to 10 million, or to 20 million maybe, right? But you can't expect that to go to hundreds of millions anymore, because it's really, really hard to justify that. You need hundreds of millions of players total, of people downloading the game, and you need hundreds of thousands or millions of well, concurrently active people playing the game in order to justify these kinds of valuations. So yeah, I think you're right that the the people who actually want to play the games, they are they get screwed over by people speculating on the tokens, or on the assets, and it's hard to build up assets. And then the question is, do the games that have been out, do they survive this? If they do, then you might actually end up doing really, really well, because you can buy it at the bottom. I'm not saying when I think the bottom is in for Web3 gaming, because every single week I think, oh, the bottom is probably in for Web3 gaming. Then the week after, I end up thinking the same, because it keeps going down even more, right? But this is speculators, obviously. So thanks. Very interesting point. Mm. Um, so Sugar Crypto, we know something about the new white paper. Don't know if it will be the final white paper, but when will we know more about it? So part of what's going to be in the white paper we've covered already, right? For you who are here, but and we'll show some more sneak peeks in different ways. But you will have to stay tuned because a lot of this is part of the communication and kind of launch strategy of the token now, that we don't publish it before we publish a lot more things at the same time.
I think people might want to know a little bit about the announcement we just did.
About the rebranding.
The rebranding, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about it a little bit, right? I haven't been getting a lot of questions here, so I didn't
Yeah, I'm
feel like.
surprised. I gotta say, I'm
Um,
surprised, guys. We did an announcement. If you haven't seen it, you should go and check it. It's very cool.
I Well, I think that most of the people who are here actually care about the substance and less about the form, right? So that's why there's probably not that many questions. But for us, this is a really big thing, right? And why is this a big thing? Because we really want to express how much we're seeing this our way to go, this being our way to go, right? And that we also firmly believe that this is the future and a successful future of where we're going. And play will be at the heart of this. The play token will be at the heart of this, right? But PlayMind is has a lot of potential outside of just pure, let's say, Web3 gaming, right? Because this can be applied in any game. This can actually be applied across all kinds of verticals. It doesn't have to be limited to games, if we're honest. It's just, again, it's super hard to say we're finding the solutions for all kinds of data, right? Like whatever, data lakes for everything. No, that's not, like, we have to start somewhere, and we're close to gaming, and so obviously gaming is where we're starting. But we really want to make sure that everybody coming in new understands that PlayMind is not just a white paper or a website or a new token or whatever, but there's a huge ecosystem, a lot of people. So we really hope that we can get you excited about this as well, about the future of where Spielworks is going with PlayMind, and that tying things into PlayMind actually benefits us all, right? Not just, obviously not just us as the people running the show, but you run the show as well. I mean, without your input, I mean, where would Santiago be as the shot caller in Dungeon Master, right? Without all of you and your feedback and your input. And this is also how, for instance, like we learn on a daily basis, right? But also, we think that this can be so much bigger than whatever we've had before, especially as Web3 gaming is still struggling, right? And like I said, it's going basically down and down and down,
It's
and
going
influenced by the
down.
market as well. But this is our chance to recreate the narrative and go up, right? So we want to go up with this. This is where, with all of you, right? We want to make this a success, and I think that's why you will be seeing the name PlayMind in a lot more places soon, very soon, very soon, and we'll have follow on communication with all of you, again within the next well, I'm not supposed to say soon, so in the next days and weeks, obviously there's going to be a lot of things happening, and I'm actually really excited about getting this done, and going ahead. And there's going to be so many things that yeah, It's actually going to be crazy.
Cool. It was a crazy market this past week. 1.5 billion were stolen via hacking, but the overall market went up, defying all logic and fundamental values that I learned from many years of education. It's amazing to see so many sexes supporting Bybit by loaning it for book balancing. Um, yeah, I mean, what happened this weekend? It seems like we cannot have like a little rest because yeah, this was massive. Like this could have been like a black swan event. I don't think it was, but the market will need some time to recover from this. Overall, yeah. Did you know about it, Adrian?
About what? About the Bybit hack? About the
Yes,
people?
Bybit hack.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I kind of saw the communication and the market react to it live on Friday. We were on a
So
call, and we're like, okay, did this really just happen? And then we chart
it
went
was
down.
crazy. I think the Bybit team handled it pretty well. But right now, yeah, I guess we gotta settle in a little bit, be able like to watch the market recover because this was for sure a huge hit.
Um,
I hacked
uh,
it.
this is interesting because we tend to undervalue and underestimate the numbers and I mean it's numbers, right? For many people it's numbers. For people looking from the outside in, it's numbers. For us it's all people, right? And like we recognize your names obviously in here in the chat and also in on Telegram and on Discord. So we always also recognize when there is somebody coming in new, coming in from Twitter and whatnot, right? And so the numbers that we're seeing right now is 200 or close to 200. I'm not entirely sure about how Twitter audience is being counted, right? So that might also create a little bit of a uncertainty here. But yes, that's what we're seeing, and it's funny because sometimes we think like, oh, but that used to be 300 back in the day, right? 2 years ago, we had more people in these streams. Yes, but so if we talk among us, I always feel like, okay, this could be more. This should be more, and because it used to be more. But at the same time, if I talk to outsiders about this and the numbers, about the people playing and about the people using our products, about the people here and there and there, right? And just numbers again, because they don't know any of your names and whatnot. But if you just talk about numbers to outsiders, it's typically they go like, "Oh my God, this is awesome," right? So be proud. So we and you should be proud of being here and being part of this and contributing to it, not just by increasing the number by one, but also by basically being an active part of this. And I think it's awesome that you're all here every week and basically stand your ground, be critical, and yeah, uh, just be here. What is the idea of the bridge from Paul to Wax? Oh man, somebody is calling that a bridge. Should it be this week or until Wombat Wax reaches the same value as Wombat Paul? Well, a little bit of both. So the longest this will run is until Play launches, right? I honestly don't expect that to be a lot of a thing as soon as the price is pretty much equal, right? So we're getting there. The reason why we've put in like pretty strong boundaries and pretty strong limits for this is that we didn't want price to kind of insta crash, right? So and also obviously there's a little bit of a practical issue to this. So the price will equalize within the next few days, and then there's going to be less and less of a motivation to actually use this. So probably we'll shut it down for a while and we'll open it up again or whatever. So maybe on a kind of decide on a daily basis or on a weekly basis how that's going to go. But by the time we launch Play, this is going to be off. Um, the rebrand is a dodge for Texas. No, actually, we hardly ever do anything for tax reasons. So from a tax perspective, it would have been a lot smarter to launch things, anything actually, products, also the Wombat token from not from Germany, right? To launch that from Dubai, from whatever, let's say Caymans, BVIs, whatever. We never done that. So we didn't optimize for tax. We optimized for stability, right? Because we don't know what lawmaking and regulation in other countries is going to look like. Actually, a lot of these alleged tax and regulatory havens have been clamping down on this, right? So it's really hard to now set up a new company with a bank account actually on the BVIs, whatever, that will be accepted in Germany, for instance. So there was a time when this was easy. Now it's getting harder and harder. I heard that Seychelles is a thing now. So I don't know. There's always going to be some place, but we don't actually, we pay our taxes, right? Whenever we do something, we expect to do our tax stuff. Maybe that's for you. I don't know.
Let's see, those who make the right research know what assets to go for. I have my disappointment in the end, but all in all, I generate about 50 to 100 inches rewards outside of bonus combat and season points. And why I don't regret the 2.5k I put in it? Because I finished up what I needed to fully continue growing and continue to put my earnings back into the M where I find it viable in my strat. I think it's more of a comment, but
yeah, but maybe you want to.
I'm sorry you feel disappointed. We're working towards having a strong infrastructure for us to start deploying more stuff.
That's actually an interesting one, Kevin. We already had a rebrand from Wombat to Spielworks, so we know the process. That's true from, let's say, community hub perspective. So that's cool. This is a routine. But there's been a little bit of a right. So Spielworks, we haven't managed to make Spielworks the brand that maybe it deserved to be, because it would have taken more to actually get there. So we hope that we can do better with the Playmate brand.
One for Santiago. Sorry. The updates on Caveman Collection is happening this. What is the Caveman Collection? Maybe I know it for other name. I'm not sure which is the Caveman Collection. Is this box infected USDC amount currently indicated on bold page is a reliable indicator? The current ratio is a bit out of range. Yeah, it is a bug. We have been talking about it since the start of the stream, but the gamer cave. Oh, okay.
I just wanted to tell you. I think Vince probably means the gamer cave.
I was like the caveman. Like what is that? Yeah. We're solving this bug today for the USDC. It is not displaying the amount it should be displaying. And the updates on the gamer cave collection, yeah, I think we should be good to release them. I have to present you the final draft data, but we're good to go.
This is an interesting one. I take off my pants and jacket. Can I buy shares? I'm sick of having crypto. I want to be a shareholder. So we're not a public listed company, so that's difficult. We're also not a AG, like not a share based company, right? We're limited, and as a limited company in Germany, it's fairly difficult, both from a governance and from a kind of technical perspective to issue or transfer shares, right? Because that always comes with, well, a notary appointment in person, or at least under full power of attorney, um, and also with kind of from a governance perspective, with a lot of approvals of transferring shares, right? So other shareholders, based on the bylaws, other shareholders may kind of vote against this or whatever. So this is not easy, right? But as a as an investor or of sorts, I can't call token holders investors officially, right? Because they're not. They're holders of an asset that has utility in our ecosystem. I personally would prefer holding future play than shares, to be honest. So I'm more excited about that. So maybe that gives you some comfort. I don't know. Yeah, if you think about it, the token is a share. It's just we have more people selling shares than buying them up.
Do you really think so?
Well, do you mean Hack or myself?
You.
I said yeah. So I this is my way of yeah, not agreeing 100%.
Okay.
Um, well, outside of regulatory stuff, right? Obviously, we can't call tokens shares because they would become security tokens right away. Okay, outside of that, it is and it isn't, right? It's a share of the total amount of the tokens that you hold, and I think that's something that's really cool, right? So if you view that as a score, whatever, and whoever holds the biggest share, the biggest, then I do agree with this. If you talk about this as kind of sort of an equity thing, then this is an absolute no, because you don't get any governance rights in the company. Again, this is also from a regulatory. Yes, I did say yeah.
Yeah.
The this has regulatory implications, because we can't give you voting rights on, let's say, whether or not you want to dismiss the CEO, right? This would classify the token under securities law right away. Where I do agree is that it's a share of the ecosystem, and it's actually, as I've been trying to point out, it's actually more important, as a more important influence on the ecosystem than having equity shares, right? Because if you hold equity, yes, you can't sell it. So it's a very long-term thing, especially if it's a limited in Germany, for instance. You can't sell it without, again, going to the notary and basically selling it off to somebody else, getting the approvals and so on. So it's liquid, but at the same time, it's much more directly influenced by the growth and the health of the ecosystem. So if the ecosystem is successful, then you will be successful as well.
Adrian will not want us to boss him. That's why we can't buy the shares. I mean, we have been pretty tough. I mean, at times. Yeah, that's why you can boss me around. That's what I'm for. You tell me what to do, and I do it.
Yes. I mean, for you obviously make your mind up about that, Santiago, and I think some people will appreciate that. But so some people would say that they're investors, right? And okay, you can have this view that you invest in an asset and then you're entitled to a certain right to vent, to talk about it, whatever. There's two things that I would say to that. I think you're entitled to, right? By being part of this ecosystem, I think you're all entitled to share your opinions, to ask questions, to be critical, to not necessarily yell, because I don't like being yelled at. I don't like yelling. I don't like being yelled at by my kids either, right? So that's general. So I would appreciate if if we can have a civilized discussion about things, right? Um, but your criticism, and you know that we've been here every week, even sometimes when it's my birthday or I'm sick on the Monday, I still come up later this week, and sometimes I jump into Discord and whatnot and have discussions with you. So I'm here. We're here. Santiago's here. I'm here. Matt and Olga and Pedro and a lot of other people are here as well. They're here for you so that you can tell your opinion, you can share your opinion, and you're entitled to do that. Totally. Right. So that's the one part. Then the other part, and now I forgot what I wanted to say is that was about bossing around. But yeah, no, I forgot that. But I think that you're by being here and by holding assets, um, you have a say, right? And we want to, and this is where we're like totally the same because we're aligned in what we want, right? And so we all want the best for well the token, the assets, the ecosystem, and so on. So this is where we're totally aligned, and this is no different than basically holding shares and being aligned on certain things because and with shares it's shareholder value, the so-called shareholder value, right? With token there's no real word for that, no real term. But it's obviously token price and token value and value of the assets that you hold, and we want to preserve and foster this, obviously.
I agree with you. Like in general, for me, it was hard to realize at first. Then it happened everything with Ideologium with Star Atlas. That's maybe at first when you buy a token or you buy an NFT, you feel that you're investing in the company or you're an investor. But in reality, what happens is that you're a customer, whether you're buying an NFT or buying a token, a utility token. You're a customer that is using the services that this company provides, but you're not really investing into the company by itself.
But here's where it's similar but different again, right? Um, the company will typically be, or the company and the people making decisions within the company, they will typically be aligned in terms of
Yes,
with
that's true.
you in terms of what they want, right? Because typically hold a lot of the assets, and I think this is also where there's been a little bit of a shift in perception between, let's say, 2020 and now over the last few years, how certain types of tokenomics and how certain types of token holder structures are perceived, right? And this goes back and forth a little bit, but so there's been always talks about burns and so on, right? But right now there is a little bit of a movement towards it's actually a good thing if the company holds a lot of tokens because then incentives are aligned really well, right? If the company just holds a minority stake of the token, say 5 or 10%, then well, on one hand they can't dump, right? But why would they dump? Why would the company dump? I find it, if it weren't so sad, like when like this the thing with Wasder happened and the Wombat token tanked a few weeks ago, right? If people if people's first reaction is Adrian or Spielworks are dumping tokens, it's almost comical because why would we ever do this? There's literally no scenario in the world where we would bluntly dump tokens, right? It just makes no sense whatsoever, because we're interested in the long-term success of anything that we do, and that includes the most valuable assets that we can hold, which is our own tokens, right? And because we hold a bunch of those, and I hold a bunch of those, I hold more Wombat tokens than anyone here in chat. I can I can reassure you on that, right? So I'm interested in whatever we do to do well, right? For Wombat token holders, for future Play token holders, for WAS token holders, right? So I can assure you that we're we're aligned on this, right? And it's ridiculous to think that, to me at least, that we would ever dump, right? So again, coming back to the train of thinking, in that respect, right? If the company holds a lot of its own tokens, then people holding a bunch of tokens can actually threaten the success of the company, right? Because selling 1 or 2% of the total supply will never end up well for the company if the company holds a lot of its own tokens, right? So by holding a large position in an asset, you can actually influence what they do, and then you're suddenly entitled because the company doesn't want you to dump, right? And this is very similar to shares on a publicly traded company, right? You want your shareholders to sell, to dump their shares because um, like your future ability to refinance yourself will or may depend on how well your share price is doing, right? And it's the same here, right? If we have a lot of tokens that do well, we can set out, let's say you can use that as a marketing budget, we can set out incentives to do XYZ, which will then generate income for the company. And if the token does well, then you have much more budget, if it's as simple as that, right? So I think there is a bunch of parallels, especially in that respect.
Right. Two things. First one, stop the fishes.
Yeah. Yeah.
People are here for the fishes.
And it's funny because I tried, what maybe somebody can tell me. I tried to change the this to this, but how do I confirm that I want this to be play? If I press this, it goes back to play. So maybe somebody can tell me. No confirm. So I just leave it at this. So now you
Yeah.
type play, exclamation mark play with an I, and you get in.
I don't know why. I promise I get a message once every 2 or 3 weeks asking me if Olga is still working here. Like, I promise I get this message every once in a while. People miss Olga's streams.
I'll tell Olga again on the next call that I'll have with her, which is going to be tomorrow morning, because I think I'm on calls with Olga 2 or 3 times a day now.
Nice. It's always important to have some positive feedback as well. I appreciate all the work you do and follow almost everything the people in the company are doing. Great job, guys. Keep it up. Every blockchain has their issues. Let's give them some slack. I'm sure everybody does the best that they can. I think we have some exciting weeks ahead. Yeah, I'm pretty confident of it.
Just hang on a sec. Now we had play doesn't work. Yeah, play with an I doesn't work. So it needs to be play with a Y. So I'll remove this. I'll just type play with a Y. And if Paparagon is around, I'll ask him what's going on with this and why
I'll tokenize myself.
you'll tokenize yourself.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. Thank you so much, Prince Brother. Actually, you can. There's a new protocol that released this Sunday. It's called Time.Fun, and you can actually tokenize your time. So you release your token, pretty similar to Pump.Fun, and the deal around it is that you can invest your time into, like, you tokenize your time, and then you're able to set up a couple of stuff. For example, answering to a question, 2 minutes worth of your token. And so people are starting to interact with it. Getting into a video call with you, 30 minutes, it's worth 30 minutes worth of your token.
This is awesome. We shall tokenize the taverns.
We should I mean, we can try to do it as an experiment. It's part of what we have been saying, that we are experiencing a time in history in which we're tokenizing absolutely everything.
Hey, look at this. On time.fun right now, I'm seeing somebody called Santiago.
Oh, but that's an investor. I have some of their tokens. Santiago is a VC investor. He's very intelligent, actually.
And he's really cheap. He's $1.10 per minute.
Yeah. There's also Mert, but Mert is like $5 right now.
Well, there's one guy who's $130 per minute right now.
Oh my god, who?
Totally.
Well, Tully is the founder of Solana.
Good.
Tully is pretty expensive, I guess. Yeah, 129.
This is gonna be fun.
That's why it is timed that fun.
The founder of Time Fun is $25 per minute.
Expensive.
I'll check that out. I hope that there's some, not saying KYC, but verification component to this.
You can verify with your Twitter. I was checking it out.
Yeah, okay. It's not really verification, is it?
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, right now you're trying to get it. Like the people that are doing this is huge internet personalities, like Twitter personalities. So it makes sense for you to verify with your Twitter account from where you get your attention.
Hope that Matt is reading this. Thanks, Vince.
We should do some streams about product discovery. I can show you a couple of cool websites, guys.
I don't think that folks here would be angry about you streaming more. Solo. Han Solo.
And showing protocols. Like, for example, Time Fun. I have a lot of them that I can show it to you.
Time Fun looks like fun indeed.
I'll charge you $10 for showing you this alpha.
The market will tell how much your time is worth.
That is true.
Wookiees?
Oh my god, we have Sisyphus.
What did you say?
No, I'm looking at Time That Fun. I'm watching
the
users.
Okay, is everyone in? Again, don't type play with an I, type play with a Y, PLAY to join, exclamation mark play with a Y. I'll try to fix this because I've literally been trying. I can't. So I don't know. Hey, Consumer Break.
Oh my god, the man, the legend, Consumer Break. How are you doing, man?
Hello.
I haven't talked with him in a while. I hope you're doing great, man.
Thanks for joining.
I haven't seen you in a while.
All right, let's get started with. Oh, we also had a shout out by the online end. Thanks. So I'm so bad at looking at this. With all these questions, I always miss out. When do we get to meet the new media wombat? I'll ask whether we can have him on next week, so we can meet him.
We can also discuss about worlds for sure.
Maybe I can have him on as a replacement for Santiago for Monday. Actually,
that's a good idea.
Are you wearing your? By the way, are you wearing your AC Milan shirt again?
No, it's Manchester United. I have a football tournament today.
There's a green Manchester United jersey.
This is blue.
This is blue? Okay, I can't see. Okay.
Oh my god.
Looks green grayish to me,
It's
but you're also on a tiny little picture right now.
You need to burn that shirt. Why? I like it. No, actually,
Manchester United you really suck this season. So
I hate Manchester United since they kick off Cristiano Ronaldo the way they did. But they have good shirts. What can I say?
That was so old. That's so long ago.
I have a soccer tournament today. Football, soccer, however you want to call it.
Okay. So, what are we handing out today? I would say let's go for some more for some more promo boxes. Still have plenty of those. Why do we have elf shoes on our promo account? Who sent that? I want to know. So yeah, let's do top 5 players get a promo box, and the top player using a wombat will get another one. And we have exactly 50 players. How cool is that? Let's go.
Duff, I'll win. I'll wish you best of luck. I wish Ansia best of luck as well because she's very unlucky.
I wish everyone a lot of luck. How can you be so
Biased?
biased? Yeah, biased is the right word. I like
I'm biased.
everyone.
What can I say? When I see people not winning, I want them to win.
Well. So we have our winners: Prince Paradox, Mike Bong, Misty,
Gold.
Gold 3-1, and Swim Dodge Vince. And Vince actually gets double because being the top player with a wombat.
Nice.
Oh shit! I shouldn't have done that. I believe. Can I go back? No, I can't.
Man,
Ah!
they are
No.
such OGs. Like, how long have you been on the space?
No, sorry, I screwed up I pressed the wrong button.
Oh my god.
I'll have to remember who that was, right?
Oh my god.
So please, the 5 people. So that was no. I mean, some of them we know. So who was that? Gold. Vince was 5th. Do you remember? Can you please shout out if you won?
I don't remember. I remember Prince Paradox was 4th.
Prince
Gold,
Paradox.
Prince, and me, says Dutch Vince. It's in the VOD. Yeah, we can check the VOD.
Yeah, we'll check that. Mike Bong, Misty. Okay, thanks. I got all. Top 3 player. Ah, that was Twitchy Tights posting this. That's great. So, yeah, we'll figure it out.
Even wax. I don't remember. How long have you been on wax, Adrian?
On wax since 2019, late 2019, early 2020, I would say. Because I still remember. No, I mean, yeah. So obviously, that was the first time I visited the wax people, or the only time actually I visited the wax people in their old office in Santa Monica in early 2020 when I was over in LA. So back then I was already using wax, but not a lot. And then I started using wax a lot after we integrated wax, and that was later in 2021. In retrospect, that was too late that we integrated wax.
I would say this 2020 mine.
Sorry?
I think I got into wax on 2020. I was trying to look at my Atomic Hub birthday, but I cannot find it.
Hack himself has been.
Oh my god, I have a bio for. Let's see.
Hey, Checo. Is Wax that old now? When did Wax launch mainnet? I think that was in 2019. Like the EOS IO based thing.
I was your third ever interview when I started streaming in spring 2022. Do you remember that? Yeah, of course. I remember using your app as well. I loved it. We had some nice conversations, consumer. Man, it has been a long time. Holy shit.
Just answering this. Good evening. A question. Good evening, Checo. Will there be the possibility to get the EOS NFTs of the games, the game-specific ones in the 50K $1 chest or some other way? we don't plan on minting new ones of those, right? Anytime soon. So, yeah, we don't like overall. EOS is a little bit difficult right now. The whole EOS based NFT ecosystem.
Thank you, Elsie, for coming by.
It's difficult when two people press buttons.
I'm remembering the good old times. I miss them.
Adrian, can I borrow some wombat from you? What do you want to do with the wombat if you borrow it? Sounds like you want to short sell if you're borrowing.
Stake it.
Stake it. Well, we can talk about the right interest rate, but you can't stake anymore. Staking is out.
Forbidden.
You don't stake your wombat.
It's illegal.
Wait for play. So this should tell you, like, the things that we're changing right now should tell you that stuff's coming. It's going. We're moving. So, last question of the stream, as always. Who are we gonna raid?
Who is live?
Who is live? Las Vegas Apes live. I guess the online is not live. Oh, the online is live now. Have they left? Queen Crystalla.
Oh, Crystalla is live. We should. Let's raid Crystalla. Yeah, she's a great streamer. I agree with you.
I think we've rated her before, but obviously no problem. Yeah, I mean, what's
so guys? Remember to buy my token on time.fun. No, I'm kidding.
So okay, we're raiding Queen Crystalla. Say hello. And yeah, see you next week. The previously announced was play ratio no longer has merit. So I would like to say, please discard anything that we said about play outside of what we said last week and this week before. There's going to be a few changes, but rest assured, we're working on making it really great for you, right? Because we want the same things, as I said earlier. That has to do with a bunch of things. So yeah, I would say the answer would be more like a no. But we're working on making it really, really good. The staking for VIP will be, if it's not shut off already, it will be shut off really, really soon. So officially, it's actually switched off now. So you will be able to stake once play is live. We'll figure this out without a DM. So we'll watch the VOD and send from there. Yes, we'll fix that.
Thank you
okay,
so much.
you could have asked all these questions so much earlier. Now we're already rating, and you're still bringing up questions. I don't want to ignore them, but I am a little bit annoyed by that. You had 2 hours, and now you're coming up with all these questions.
Thank you, but yes, thank you guys so much for the stream. We will see you next. Well, Adrian will see you next Monday, or else I'll see you on the day we decide to host the tavern. But thank you so much.
Okay, thanks. And we're raiding now because it's gonna auto raid anyway. And
let's raid.
Okay, let's raid. See you next week. Bye bye. Thanks a lot.
Adios.